Hey DIYers, today I'm going to show you a quick and simple way to get an image from a piece of paper to a piece of wood in under a minute. Stay tuned. This is going to be a really quick and easy image transfer, but before we get to actually transferring the image, there's a couple of really important things that we need to go over about how to do this project. The first important thing is that you need to print your image in the reverse. If you don't print it in the reverse, it's going to come out backwards when you transfer your image. The other important thing is that the image needs to be printed on laser printer. So if you don't have a laser printer at home, which most people don't, I do because I use one for business, but if you don't have a laser printer at home, a lot of people have them in their workplace, in their office. Just print your image and take it to work and run it on the copier, or you can stop by somewhere like Office Max or Copy Max and have them just run a copy, a 10-cent copy for you, and use that for your image transfer because it has to be done with a laser printer. Inkjet will not work. The next thing you need to have is this Chartpak blender pen. I ordered these online because my local craft supply store does not carry them. They carry some other types of blender pens, but those pens don't work. This one specifically works for this image transfer method, so I ordered them online. I will put a link to these pens in the description so that you can make sure you get the correct one, but it's a Chartpak blender pen. So I'm just using a piece of scrap wood today. This was left over from a project. It's just I think it's like a 1x6 piece of wood, and I covered the front of it with a coat of the Fusion, I think it was Pebble Gray or something like that, but you can use craft paint. You can not paint it at all and put it straight on the wood. Whatever color you want as your background color, go ahead and put that on there first and let it dry really well, and then maybe just give it a light sand before you apply your image. All right, now we're ready to transfer, so I'm going to put my image sort of to the side because I think I'm going to go back and add like a dandelion or something on this side. So you want to flip your image over and kind of get it where you want it on the board, and then you're going to need to tape it down. It's very important to tape it down because you don't want your paper to slide around when you're transferring your image. If your paper slides, it will mess your transfer up. And just make sure when you're applying your tape that you don't tape over top of anywhere that the image is, because if you do, it won't transfer. Okay, so I've got my blender pen, and now I'm just going to start my transfer. So to do this, you're just going to rub right over top of the ink. And you do want to apply a bit of pressure with the blender pen. I don't go over the whole entire piece of paper. I try to keep it just to where the image is because it just wastes your fluid that's inside that pen if you do the whole entire piece of paper. It's a little bit stinky. I think it has acetone or something in it. You can do image transfers like this with just straight acetone, but I have found that you have to burnish it really hard, and the image doesn't come through quite as brightly as it does with these pens. And the pens aren't very expensive, and you can get quite a few transfers out of one pen. Now I created this image myself. I have a Cricut, so I created the image in Design Space and then printed it out in the reverse. But there's lots of places online where you can get images. There's a website called The Graphics Fairy that's really good. She has a lot of really pretty shabby and French images, and a lot of them are already on her website in the reverse. So if you go to thegraphicsfairy.com, you can find images there and just print them straight out. You don't even have to worry about learning how to reverse an image on your computer. You can also go to Google and Google whatever subject matter you're wanting to print as an image. I usually search silhouettes, PNG files, clip art, and then I click on images in Google and I'll look and see, and you want to make sure that it's a copyright free image. So you could type in free fairy silhouette and you would find something that you could print. I'm just going back over it one more time. Usually once is enough, but I find sometimes I'll miss a spot, so I go over it twice. This method is best for transfers that are fairly simple words, silhouettes. If you're wanting to transfer something really complicated like a photograph, I would not use this method. I would go with something else. But this is great for making signs or getting a stencil onto a piece of wood that you want to go back in and paint later. Okay, I think that should be good. And now we're just going to pull our piece of paper off. And there we go. Ta-da! So it's still wet right now. Once it dries, you won't be able to see these little light spots in here. And what you can do from here, you can leave it like this. A lot of times I like to use markers, and I'll go back and color my image in with a marker to make it dark. You can use like the paint markers or even a Sharpie to darken it if you want it to be darker than how it comes out. And that is as easy as it gets. Just a regular piece of wood, an image printed in the reverse with a laser printer and a Chartpak blender pen. Okay, I'm back. I finished my sign. I took my La Plume colored markers and I went back over my image transfer with just some of the colors from this kit that I got from Joann Fabrics, and I'll put a link to these markers in the description as well. So here's the sign all finished. I added some color and I added the dandelion, and now it's ready to go in the garden. If you like this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more DIY.